Good morning. My name is Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we're getting another update from LithiumBank, which trades on the Toronto Stock Exchange under the symbol LBNK. Joining me today is Kevin Piepgrass, Chief Operating Officer of LithiumBank. Kevin, thanks for being here on behalf of LithiumBank. How are you doing today?
Great to be here. Thanks. Good to see you again.
Kevin, for those new to the LithiumBank story, could you please quickly provide us with a general overview of the company and your lithium-brine assets in central Canada?
Yeah, sure. Let me flip through the slide here a little bit. First of all, talk about the disclaimer and forward-looking statements. This is available on our website for everyone to look at. So LithiumBank is new to the public markets. We went public on the TSX.V in April of this year, but we started out as a quiet junior in 2019. If you recall, our timing, I think, is excellent, where we timed the market where, if you remember, there was a high lithium price in 2016, 2017, 2018. It certainly dived after that. So we were around in 2019 with a bit of money and a strong technical team, where we set out and focused on petrol brines in Western Canada, where we picked up ground that we had a certain criteria for, that had size, scalability, infrastructure from oil and gas, and data that we could use to move projects forward. So we started out in exploration, and we picked up our flagship project, which was Boardwalk, and it had a really strong data set and all the criteria we were looking for, and we immediately put a 43-101 resource estimate on it. It has an inferred resource of 6 million tons LCE. And with that, we've continued to move that project forward. We're far along with PEA, who we're working with Hatch Engineering. We've spent a lot of time with Hatch. One of the biggest problems, not problems, but one of the biggest hurdles to get over with these petrol brines is the DLE. And we spent a good 6 months with Hatch Engineering to assess and compare all the different DLEs out there in North America. And we've narrowed down the field to a group that we're very far along with right now, completing our test work with them. And we should have a PEA out on the Boardwalk project by the end of the year. With that, we've also picked up ground in Saskatchewan through auctions. And with a similar criteria, we have to have scalability, we have to have data, we have to have infrastructure. And we've also picked up the Fox Creek project. The Fox Creek project is something that we just had a news release on recently. It's a 1.3 million acre project that we've put together over the course of 3 years. So during the time of the lithium price decline, a lot of companies had a lot of this ground, and it was really piecemeal, broken up into different companies, and it's hard to do anything with. Because of the price of lithium crash, companies had a hard time raising capital. With that, they couldn't keep the ground in good standing. And so we came in and picked up the ground, picked up the pieces, and really made a very strong package there. And now we're comfortable with what we have, and we're moving that forward.
So let's talk about this week's news, where the company increased their lithium-brine holdings by over 530,000 acres. Would you walk us through this release and the significance of these new areas?
Yeah, so the biggest pickup was the Fox Creek area, and it's significant because it's difficult to do anything with something that's chopped up, because you have to deal with different people and different companies, and you're moving water. Water's fluid, so it's a resource that moves somewhat. So with the package that's all contiguous, it's really a strong package now that we can move forward with. What's interesting about it is, if you look at the map, you can see all the dots and the grades there in the legend. These are historical samples that were put together by the AGS, and they're historical samples donated by petrol operators, and they are really the highest grade, some of the highest grades in Alberta. I mean, the lowest grade from the two formations is 76, which is higher grade than any resource out there in Alberta. Mm-hmm. So it's a really exciting project to start working on. And what's interesting about the Fox Creek is you have the Leduc formation that's in the hash marks there, you can see, and it's the same with the Boardwalk. That's the Leduc formation. But in the Fox Creek particularly, it's the reef has built directly on top of the Swan Hills, which is part of the Beaver Hill Lake formation. And these seem to be hydrogeologically connected. So one of the biggest foundations of building a resource estimate is getting your hydrogeological model together. So we've started work on that, and really trying to build a foundation. And our roadmap towards building projects has really been developed through our work at Boardwalk. We've spent 6 years with Hatch doing the comparable study with the DLEs, and then another 6 months going through how to best design and engineer DLE test work and put projects through to a PEA. So we have that roadmap in place, and we feel we can move this project forward quite quickly using that roadmap that we've developed.
And the Fox Creek has been an asset for the company, but we haven't seen too much detail on this region, aside from it being 50 kilometers south of your flagship Boardwalk project. Could you run us through this project and why Fox Creek has become an additional focus area for the company?
Yeah, so like I said, we're running these projects in parallel. We see Fox Creek as being a very strong asset comparable to Boardwalk. Boardwalk's still our flagship. It's the most furthest along. It's the most advanced project we have. But the advantages here is it's another project. It's another de-risking exercise where we potentially have higher grades. Every brine, every resource is built differently. Everything has advantages and disadvantages. So it's just another project that could have higher grades and size similar to the Boardwalk. And it being 50 kilometers away, there could be some synergies in the future as we continue to develop these. But we've kept it quite quiet just for the reason of trying to acquire all the land into a position where we can move it forward.
And just looking at a map, you can see how significant your holdings are in these regions. Can you chat quickly on the other target areas in Saskatchewan and the Peace Arch area in Alberta?
Yeah, let me get to. So this is the Saskatchewan map. We picked up our Saskatchewan assets through auction. That's how they're sold in Saskatchewan. And Saskatchewan is different. It's not a carbonate reef per se. It's more of a horizon, but there's historic lithium samples that are quite favorable in the area. There's certainly activity with lithium-brine companies in the area. We feel like I said, there's advantages and disadvantages to every sort of resource. So we see this as another risk or de-risking project where it's different geology, but grades are certainly there. They're shallower. So we're working on next steps. We're working on hydrogeological models there as well, and really figuring out the scale of these projects and the potential they have. The Peace Arch area up in the north, it's also a Leduc reef system. The Peace Arch is quite a large Leduc system. It's the big noticeable arch in northern Alberta. So we picked up 4 townships there. It's 30 kilometers of strike along the Leduc. The Peace Arch we find is a bit trickier. There's a lot of faulting and in the area, and in the geology is much more complicated than the Boardwalk or Fox. But the piece we have was a very prolific petro operation for several decades, and there's a lot of information there. And so we feel like we have a very solid piece there, and we're looking on how to best advance that project. Maybe it's a joint venture or some kind of partnership, but it's a great piece of ground as well.
Excellent. Well, thanks again for your time today, Kevin. We look forward to having you on again soon to hear more about LithiumBank.
Great. Thank you very much.